And we're back. Boom, boom, boom. We're back with episode number what, Joey?
20, baby. Bente, baby. Woo, big time.
20 Bits and Bytes podcast. We're super excited to be here. We got some special guests here, but more importantly, we got something really dynamic to talk about today that's affecting and applicable to just about every business out there. So I'm Matt Scott with my co-host,
Joey Wenzler, and today we are joined by Byteworks' very own Adam Kingery, director of all things SLED, and the collaboration wizard, the Rizzler himself, Jeremiah Plaskett.
Yep. Well, great, guys. I know you guys have a lot going on, but we're really excited to talk about this topic. And today we're going to be talking about the new WebEx agents and their capabilities. So thanks for being here, guys.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
We recently just showed off some of these capabilities at the Amos show. And maybe, one of you guys want to walk through what we did, what we displayed, and talk about some of the benefits.
Sure. Go ahead, Adam. Yeah, so we were recently at a K through 12 conference, and with all these new capabilities that are out there, AI is one of those buzzwords that everybody is talking about, and nobody really talks about how this stuff actually gets used in real life. It's just, AI can solve this, AI can solve that. I'm like, great. I'm like, what we really need to do is we need to put together a realistic demo that will resonate and make sense to real people, right? I'm a parent, you're a parent, you're a parent. What could be more, relevant to parents than being able to do something that involves their children with school districts, right? So this was a K through 12 conference. So I went to Jeremiah and I was like, hey, Jeremiah, why don't we put together something about transportation, right? My kids ride the bus, your kids ride the bus. What can we do that would be relevant to parents that might be helpful? And Jeremiah put together this amazing demo. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure. Let me set the table a little bit because we kind of dove right into talking about AI agents and WebEx contact center agents. But to set the table a little bit, this whole technology was born back in the 2010s decade as chatbots. And so it's evolved now from being very FAQ driven. So you could create chatbots on a website via SMS and different things so that you're trying to serve your customers. In this case, we're talking about in the education vertical. So those customers might be students, they might be parents, et cetera. But regardless of what vertical you're talking about, you're trying to serve and provide a better customer experience for your end users, students, teachers.
So basically like references things.
Yeah. And so really this channel within the customer experience is the way I like to refer it to kind of keep it digestible and understandable. Typical call centers and customer experience centers had voice channels, and then it evolved and you started getting other channels that you could serve your customers. And so people would call into customer service and that's how you would serve them traditionally. But then chatbots came about and it became a channel. And so web chat is one example. You go to a company's website, a little box pops up. How can we help you? Those were all driven by very scripted, if this, then that. If I'm asked this question, you need to answer it this way. And so a programmer would set that up and provide that Q&A experience. And then, of course, there's other channels. There's email channels and there's social media channels. The idea about a true omni-channel customer experience platform is that you want to make sure that regardless of the medium that your end users are going to use, that you can respond to them and that interaction funnels into a true contact center experience, and that you can go back and refer to it and have the historical evidence of it and then serve that person and have all that context of the previous interactions on subsequent interactions. When you start hearing these buzzwords, and we're specifically talking about AI agents, but in the industry, it's you'll hear it referred to as agentic AI, it's evolved. It's no longer just an FAQ scripted chatbot. It is a autonomous, intelligent AI agent that can take true decisive actions and actually optimize all the channels, the omni channels, and float back and forth between them. So what Adam's referring to is we did for the education vertical is we built an AI agent for students and for parents that can answer all these questions that the school was having to field, especially towards the start of the school year. So you think school's about to start, parents want to know what's the bus schedule. They want to know what's the educational, the class schedule. They want to know about dress codes. They want to know about picture day. They want to know about everything they need to know for the upcoming school year. Schools have typically handled this via an FAQ page, for example, on their website, or via you calling in or reaching out to them in some way, whether you reach out to them via email, whether you reach out to them via phone call, whether you reach out to them via web chat on their site. All of those sorts of channels and all of those sorts of methods are used in order to find out this information. And so we built.
Hey, my kids want to know if they could text it.
Yes.
I'm just joking, but that's usually how my kids communicate nowadays with me is, hey, I'll just text you. So
Right.
that's good.
So we built an AI agent that we demonstrated at a conference about a month or so ago now that takes all of those FAQs from the school system's website and goes through a process. First, it authenticates. And so it needs to make sure that the parent or teacher, if it's a general question, of course, it can answer that. And the agent's actually smart and intelligent and knows this. But if, let's say, they're asking detailed information, like, this is my address, does the bus pick me up here? Then you can authenticate and have an authentication step to validate who that person is making this question before you release the information that says, hey, this is your bus route, this is your bus number, etc. And so what you're doing there is you're taking all of those inquiries, and where normally you would have to have a human answer those, you're creating a very good agent that can answer those, and that it can cross all those systems, do the authentication, dip into LMS system, learning management systems, and validate schedules, and do all those things that you would normally have to have a very intelligent human do, the AI agent can do. And so what that ends up helping the school district with, for one, it's extremely convenient for the parents and teachers because they get quick, instant answers. They even get detailed answers, but it really helps the school system in greatly, redirecting all those inquiries so that they can focus on the more empathetic human interactions that need to be escalated to them, and also focus on, getting ready for the school year.
Gosh, it sounds like it saves hours per day for not only the faculty and staff, but the parents. Nobody likes waiting on hold or waiting for an email response. We had similar issues. Both my boys are in elementary school, and they have all these apps, but sometimes it gets lost in the sauce. So wouldn't it be great to know you could just go to the website and get served instantaneously and not have to wait? And we all know how busy the mornings are.
It's really funny that you say that, because one of the real benefits of having such real-time interaction, it's not just real time, it's also 24/7.
Yeah.
So that is one piece that I wanted to bring up, because all these conversations happen like around the dinner table or right before my wife and I are getting ready to go to bed. The kid will pop up.
by the way,
Oh, I forgot to tell you about this field trip that's coming up, and I need you to sign this. Like, I can't think about that right now. I'm trying to relax.
no doubt.
So the 24/7 aspect of all this is really huge, because the school isn't open 24/7.
So I think that does a couple different things, right? It gives the user experience, so the people that are coming in, it gives them a better experience because they're actually getting real-time answers or engagement. But it also, like, currently right now, a lot of these, districts, and I know we're using schools as a use case, but even other businesses, they don't have 24/7, people. So they're not paying people to do that right now. So you're giving a better experience at the cost of, minimal, so
I think that's really huge. So not just, being able to deliver 24/7 by 365, but since we're training these agents, not only is it real time, it's accurate information.
Yeah.
It's the information that we feed it and train it on to actually deliver. So, how many times, as the front desk person at the school called in sick, and a teacher is literally backing them up, and they probably don't know the answers because they're thinking about math 101. After this, I got to go teach a math class. Having an agent that can literally know the right answer to any question that might be asked about that school or policy is really huge.
The real key differentiation there that I like to point out is answering the questions is one thing, but actually taking action on the questions is another. And so we've been talking about in the school concept here. in this particular agent we built is mostly answering those questions, those frequently asked questions, but having the ability to, not just do FAQs, but act as an autonomous, intelligent enough agent to where it can dip in and take a look at the bus route schedule into a system in order to access that information. It can actually then dip into the LMS system to look at a student schedule, things like that. That it's not just answering a question, it's taking further action. And when you think about it in other verticals, maybe it's the retail space and you're wanting to provide order status, okay? Or what if you want to update your shipping status? A typical scripted bot is going to be able to answer questions about shipping. Oh, this is due this date, so and so. But it's not necessarily going to be able to then change that shipping date or change that shipping location. And so the difference between a regular chatbot and an actual AI agent interaction is that the AI agent can actually take action in systems. It can do authentication steps.
It's not static.
It can go into those systems and make it intelligent changes.
And it's not just one layer deep, right? I think that's kind of where you're going with this, right? Chatbots, a lot of times they're meant to handle very general questions. But where you can actually have a conversation with it, it can go many layers deep. So,
Yeah. And what does that do to, for a company that has a contact center or a customer experience center department, if you will? What it does is if you think about from the back end administrative concept of staffing people to answer inquiries, or staffing people to, if you're a retail industry, staffing people to change shipping dates, or if you're in the financial industry, staffing people to answer those questions about your bank balance and that transaction or whatever it may be. What you end up doing is you deflect those frequently asked questions, the low hanging fruit sort of things, where you can get an AI agent to handle those. And then your agents are cleared up and focus more on, handing those more human empathetic interactions. And so a lot of people are afraid of AI agents taking over your job, this, that, and the other. But what I often try to tell people is AI agents being introduced into the customer experience is a way to gain efficiencies in your customer experience. It's a way to improve your customer experience. You use it as a tool, as a co-pilot, if you will, no pun intended on co-pilot AI, but you use it as a helper to make your customer experience that you offer to your end users that much better. And one of the things that we're seeing in the industry is, and this is, I saw a stat the other day, I don't know if it's true or not, but it said, and this was from a few years ago, it said by 2025, and we're in 2025, that 95% of customer interactions with customer service, regardless of the industry, is going to have some component of AI involved. And we're seeing that more and more. And one of the big things that's happening in the industry is that it's turning traditional call centers and contact centers from a cost center into a revenue center.
Yep.
And so, because there's so many opportunities to then to expand upon that and make something that was complete cost from a customer experience perspective, turn it into opportunities to upsell, opportunities to make further revenue, frankly.
And a better experience.
And absolutely a better experience. And one of the key things is having that, like I was mentioning earlier, that omni-channel optimization to where you can meet your customer on the medium that they like to talk in. Younger people will use social media. Older folks, traditionally, we like to be able to call in and talk to someone. And some people just like to send a text or, Apple Message, et cetera. You want to be able to meet your customer on the medium that they're at.
But I mean, shoot, a few months ago, we were not only just talking to schools that are serving end users and people, but we were talking to some IT folks that are serving other people in the organization. And we're talking about password resets. And we asked the simple question of, hey, how many password resets do you get, and requests to help out with that, do you get on, a weekly or monthly basis? And everyone's like, oh, and we're like, hey, what if we can alleviate some of those, mundane tasks? So Jeremiah likes when I say that word too, mundane, right? So
You say it mundane, so maybe that's fine.
I'm just thinking about, and I know all of us can relate to this, when you are in the middle of a conversation, let's say this is the fifth touch between you and a brand, whatever, whether that's like a B2C scenario or you in your school or doctor's office or whatever, where you have to say the same thing to 5 different people, 5 different times.
Yeah.
And it is so annoying. And then in exchange, when you think about just we're all people, right? They get that energy every day from people that are just frustrated because of that.
Sure.
And then they have to endure that. So how do you think that impacts them? Are they going to be able to give that 100% level customer service because they're only people?
Well, to that point, Joey, that's another area where in the customer experience realm, there's the AI agent itself. Think about this. You have the AI agent that you create that can handle those interactions with your clients. It's going to free up your actual human agents to be more efficient and really focus on those empathetic conversations that you need a human for, right? And so immediately you're improving your efficiency, you're improving your customer service, you're improving the experience of the customer, right? But what you just touched on is those multiple interactions, and this is where AI also helps. And when you hear agentic AI, it's referring to the whole gamut. So another big area where AI can help your customer experiences is imagine this scenario. You have a customer have an interaction with that AI agent, and the AI agent is the first line of defense, if you will. It's handling those mostly tier 1 calls, right? And so then it needs to escalate to a human. Well, in the past, the agent taking that call, if they had, within their system, the ability to see every time that person called in or chatted in or emailed in, you want that so that the agent has that context, okay? But if you can then add on AI sentiment analysis, okay, of those interactions up to that point, and a nice handoff to the human agent with context of what's happened up to that point. So for example, I call into a company, I'm like, I need to get my shipping address changed on this order. And I go through this interaction with the AI agent, and then I say, oh, you know what? I have another question about the product. Let's say the AI agent can't answer that question. The AI agent can then hand that call off between channels and between a AI agent and a human agent. And when it hands me off to that human agent, it can say, hey, this customer has called in. They asked about the changing their shipping address, but then they went into some product questions. And based upon the sentiment analysis, the customer's a little perturbed.
Yeah.
And so that actual contextual information, it can then be used, and AI can see all that and give that information to the actual human agent. Thus, the experience is better.
Empowered. They're just empowered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things where you have, AI agent being the virtual person, if you will, taking the call, but then you can also leverage AI tools within the customer experience contact center itself to really help you deliver a better solution. For a second, I want to think about a future state, like where is this going, right?
Yeah.
Because what is ultimately going to happen is, and we're seeing this more and more, is you're going to see proactive AI agents and proactive capabilities where, let's say you're an ISP and you have an outage, and an AI agent reaches out to you and says, hey, we noticed you have an outage in your area. Would you like us to go ahead and schedule a service truck? Things like that. So, the future of this is really exciting because it's going to greatly overall improve the customer experience that people are going to have. And it's going to be for the better. And let's be frank, I feel over the last 20, 30 years that, and it's always been a challenge. Anytime you call into a call center, like I remember calling to fight the cable company in years past, I'm calling to argue about, my telephone bill. It was a mostly negative experience. You would have to get on and hold, and you're number 15 in the queue, and and they've done so many things over the years to try to optimize and make it better. Would you like a call back when it's convenient?
I don't trust that. I'm just gonna say I am so wary of that. I don't do it. Yeah.
My larger point being is that agentic AI is actually going to improve the customer experience all around. For one, it just introduces so many more channels and ways to inquire, but it also, to your point, Adam, is 24/7, and it helps your actual human agents be that much better. And of course, my other point is it can help turn what was a cost center into a revenue generating.
I think that's really powerful. And I don't want to leave the consistency piece of this because we're all, as humans, we're all affected by everything going on around us, right? And it's tough. Like, you don't know, maybe your dog got sick and you had to take it to the vet last night, right before you go in and clock in for your shift, and you're a little distracted, right?
Yep.
AI agents are never distracted. Then for calling sick, they never have to take their dog to the vet. And again, it's more of it kind of levels up us as humans, right?
Huge
When we
point.
can use it as a tool, but having that consistency of front end, I feel like, and I'll be honest, I've talked to several AI. I don't know about you, Matt. Like, I used to hate calling into like contact centers. I just did not enjoy the process.
Zero right away. Zero. Let me
Yeah.
out to somebody.
Exactly. Yep.
Zero.
These days, they're a lot better.
Yeah.
I was talking with an AI agent that did HR stuff. The empathy that these agents have, like the inflection of their voice, like the way that they talk to you, the way that they care. It's like, oh,
They can fire you way better than us humans can.
it's really wild how far it's come.
Yeah. So what you said about consistency, I was actually listening to a show on the way into work today, and NVIDIA Jensen was talking, and I believe it was by 2030, everyone's going to have a robot and doing these consistent tasks, right? So, and that's hard to fathom right now, but think about if we can throw our laundry into a hamper and it gets washed and put out and probably folded too. I don't know, but they're saying that it's going to be how every household will have that. Crazy enough, and I'm going to throw this out there for you guys because it resonated with me. They also said that we're playing the long game right now. This is a revolution. And so right now where we're at is just dial up. We are just scraping the surface.
Infancy.
And
Yeah.
and so we're going through a major change or whatnot. But so
I've seen the Jetsons.
yeah, exactly. So
We've always wondered if it was ever going to happen.
Still waiting for my weight case. It turns into a car, or vice versa.
all these things and what we're talking about is where we're going, and we have much of this of the demonstrations that we're doing at our fingertips right now. So I want to kind of come back. We started talking about that experience, that demonstration, and what we did to the school districts. But Adam, you were there. Tell me a little bit about the reactions and the questions that we got. I know I've heard, people are so interested that there's a wait list to get onto how do we, take advantage of this and have these. Tell me like some about that, because that excites me.
Yeah, I mean, it's really huge. The interest in this, I think that people hear these buzzwords a lot and they're like, well, how can we actually put this into action? We thought it'd be a good idea to create a wait list, right? Because there's so much interest that frankly, and it takes a little bit of time to build these out, right? Because on the front end of this, we want to make sure that we truly understand the workloads and the things that we're trying to accomplish for customers. Matt, you brought up password reset, MFA reset. These are things that IT departments at school districts and all companies have to deal with. Tying into those back-end systems can be a little tedious on the front end. That's what we're here for, right? Is Byteworks is to help all the way through that process from start to finish. And like say, we're almost there on our first big MFA reset agent that we're working on right now.
That's huge.
It's going to be really big. I mean, just think about, and I'm always like, well, what the heck is that? And why does that matter? So I think about myself as an end user, because this actually happened to me the other day here at Byteworks. I got a new iPhone 16, right? I had an iPhone 13 or something like that. We leveraged Duo MFA at Byteworks, right? And of course, when I got my old phone, I had my new phone. I'm like, well, how do I do this, right? Because it's not something that you do as an end user every day, So I'm like, I'm put a help desk ticket in, and I'm like, hey, how do I, get MFA moved over from my old phone to my new phone? No problem. We'll reset it. We'll do all this. I was actually really surprised at how quick and easy it was. Unlike my kids, I don't think like, oh my God, I got to have the latest iPhone so that I could do it. I'm like, man, I'm really good at using my iPhone 13. I just want to keep using it. But Apple keeps slowing it down. Anyways, so
That's another episode. Apple Truther.
the MFA reset process at Byteworks, I know that we're going to be augmenting with AI agents as well. but we're doing it, you know how it is, right? The barber, needs a haircut more than their client. So we're helping our clients first, and then we'll get back to creating our own AI agents internally to do MFA Reset. But it was an incredible process. So I hope I kind of put that into perspective as to the things that we're hearing our clients say.
Yeah.
We need help with this because right now, we're getting an abundance of calls. I think one of our clients said they spend, like, their IT help desk team spends about 30 to 35% of their time doing password reset and MFA reset. 35%. And I'm like, well, how many hours is that, right? Of your staff's hours? How many hours a week is that? A month, a year? And then you can start to put things back into perspective, right? Because even schools have to think about what full-time employees cost, right? And what benefits cost, what this costs, what's that. You can really start to create revenue center.
And how many were outside of the workday? Like somebody's trying, like, I mean, even then, like, so you're solving those, the AI agents working while people are sleeping, right?
But that's a great way to think about, like, because you hear these buzzwords in the industry, and if you're an IT manager, or if you're a business owner, if you're someone who's hearing these terms and you're thinking to yourself, well, everything's AI this, AI that. Where does the rubber meet the road? How do I actually get this into my environment, and how's it going to help me? I think you've heard some of the values of how it's going to help you, but what I like to do is think about those low hanging fruits. And when I'm having conversations with customers, I'm like, tell me some of your pain points, especially, like Matt mentioned, I'm the collaboration practice lead here. And so I'm talking to customers all the time and talking to them, of course, about traditional collaboration and unified communications technologies. But when it comes to the customer experience in the contact center, the way I start that conversation is, tell me the biggest pain points in your call center or your contact center. What is it that if you could get something to handle just those sorts of inquiries only is going to free everyone else up? And it's that low hanging fruit. And the password resets is great. To Adam's point, from an internal perspective, it doesn't have to be something that you provide to your external customers. You can use it to provide to your internal customers. You can have an HR AI agent that answers all your employees, PTO questions. You can have a IT help desk.
Hey, it approved my month off.
Yeah.
Next month.
So, and you can have an IT help desk scenario where, you're supporting your internal employees, and it's the, MFA password resets, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's general troubleshooting questions. You can build AI agents in multiple ways. The key thing with customers that I found is a lot of times they're overwhelmed because they hear about all these things, but they don't understand what does this mean to me? What does this mean to my business? How do I get started? And the best way, in my opinion, is to baby step it with these things where you have the pain points and you use and leverage AI to address them, and then you scale from that. And so it's kind of like you used to hear that term a few years ago. Everyone was saying, and it's still a term, but digital transformation, what does that mean? And for me, the biggest steps I saw in digital transformation was really happening during the pandemic, right? Because people were having to rethink how they're doing, customer interactions and serving people and this, that, and the other. But, if you go to one of these apps and order fast food, and then you do it through the app, and then you go and they have a special parking spot for you and they bring it right out to you. It's just a seamless, easy process. That is a perfect explanation of digital transformation that people can understand. And this whole agentic AI is just another iteration of digitally transforming your company and leveraging these tools to make the overall customer experience better. It's a lot when you hear it all being thrown at you. You hear AI this, AI that. It's like your mind will go crazy thinking, how can I bring this to my business? How can I serve my customers using these tools? Because everyone else says, I don't know where to start. Focus on the problems that you have, and then build a solution for that problem and expound on it.
The buzz, right? If you watch any business show, any technology conference, if you had to drink every time they said AI, you'd be pretty good on golf course. But so we're now, though, and that's been for a while. That's been for probably 3-4 years, where AI. But now, and to use your analogy, we're where the rubber meets the road, and we're actually bringing solutions and delivering, solutions and benefits of the AI, and we're at the point where we have the capabilities. So I want to take it a step further. You touched on it a little bit, Jeremiah, around, asking some of these baby step questions on how do you get there. I'm sitting behind my computer listening to this podcast. How would I take some of these steps? How would I engage? And I don't know, Jeremiah, Adam, whoever wants to take it, but like, I'm in IT or I'm in business. I own a business function in my organization, and I'm hearing AI, and I got a lot of things that I think could be capabilities to do that. Help me out here. How do I take those next steps? What would be the right process?
For me, it's engaging with a consultant, a company that has the experience and reputation and can help you step through. And again, I'm going to use that term baby step through this, because you need someone who can break it down in digestible pieces and actually help, who truly understands it themselves and can have those conversations with you. What are your pain points, and then what are your objectives, and then tackle them one by one that way. To me, that's the best approach for that. Go ahead, Adam.
So, I mean, it's kind of along those lines, Jeremiah, but most of my clients have actually created AI committees internally. And one of the things that I think is really fascinating about this is when you go through something and you're like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. They tell their people to write that down, right?
Yeah.
And submit it to the committee, because the best way to do this, think about the daily stuff that you run into and write down the stuff that just seems broken and doesn't work. It's slowing the process down. I can't remember, it was one of the leaders, maybe it was Bezos or one of the other guys, but they're like, what's the number one thing that our company is doing incredibly well? And what's the one thing that is really stupid and we should quit doing to right this second?
Isn't that a tough question to ask, but a necessary one?
So I think so. I think you guys hit on it too. And one of the things that spurs into my brain is being able to ask the right questions in the right way, right? So we're in the world of prompts, right? And that's how you engage. But where I think why certain people do prompts better is because of the mindset. And I really think, and Joey, I'm not pitch slapping here, so don't come across and tell me, but having the engineering approach of how do you process these elements? What are the steps to take to do that? It is an engineering approach to solve this problem, but not everybody's going to take the appropriate steps to ask the questions or discover on how to appropriately solve the problems. I think there's a lot of value in having a true partner that knows what they're doing, that has, done this for a long time, and walking you through side by side with those steps to make sure that you're actually solving the issues and not creating more issues.
Let's talk about real quick, because I think we would regret not mentioning this. And that is, a lot of people are scared of AI. I don't know if y'all heard recently, current events, open AI is getting sued right now for some of the, most recently, some of the things that they answered, which was detrimental to someone. And what you have with AI, it's kind of like, I use this analogy with my daughter, and it's not the best. She's a teenager, so I like to be direct. And I often tell her, if you put in half blank effort, you get half blank results. And I think y'all know what I'm saying here. And then there's the other term, garbage in, garbage out sort of thing. It's like when you're building AI models and you're building agentic AI, you have to understand that what we refer to as bias and hallucinations of AI. Okay. And sometimes AI is not going to give you the answer that you want, and it's going to give the wrong answer. It's going to give and that's all in how you build it. And you have to be able to build it responsibly. And so if you're building an AI agent, you have to make sure that the data you give it is solid, and you have to test it and retest it and really put it through its paces, because you want to do AI responsibly. There's a lot of great books about AI irresponsibility and the dangers of it. Kind of a nerd, so one great book is Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark, highly recommended. There's a couple other great AI books that talk about this, and of course the nerdy part of me thinks about Skynet, that, all those funny references about, AI taking over the world.
Yeah.
And there's a legit concern around AI, around those things. I'm a big believer in AI, and it really is the future. We're on the very first steps of something very amazing, and how the world's going to change, in my opinion, over the next 10 to 15 years because of AI. But you have to do it responsibly. You have to make sure that the data you feed it and how you build it is the data you want your customers to walk away with, and that you're meeting compliance requirements and you're meeting those check boxes, if you will, to do it responsibly. To me, another very important factor when you're talking about AI and you're rolling out these sorts of features within your company or to your customers is you have to make sure that you're checking those boxes and doing it right.
Yeah, maybe asking like, hey, what could go wrong here?
Right.
Or how could a bad actor, do something nefarious? Like, what would they do? How would they do it? So you can punch holes in that cheese, make a Swiss cheese, so that way before it rolls out, you don't have to deal with that after rollout.
Right.
And I think I saw a recent comment from Chris Palermo on how every Cisco presentation on AI starts with AI responsibility and how to approach it, and like a complete resetting of the approach. It was powerful, and frankly, I've sat through many of those Cisco AI presentations, so I certainly appreciate that a lot. I think that goes back to making sure that the partners that you're working with are taking that smart, sensical approach as well. So, hey, we're coming up on time here, but the last question that I have is, okay, this sounds great. You guys sound like you're a partner that I would want to discover and work with. Are there some capabilities that are there things that you have to have in place to take advantage of this? Do I need to be a Cisco user? Do I have to have hardware in place? What are the steps,
Yeah.
that are
The
must-haves?
great thing about AI agents, and one of my favorite pieces about it is it's cloud delivered. You can completely set it up in the cloud. You don't need hardware. Of course, you could, do this on your own, build out your own hardware, LLM, and all that stuff. But the way that most customers are going to consume this is through a cloud service. All right. We obviously partner with Cisco and WebEx and deliver this via WebEx Contact Center's product. But there are several ways to skin that cat, as the expression goes. You can get AI agent services from multiple vendors, but what you want to do is just check those boxes, make sure they have the experience and
So there's no hardware requirement.
there's not.
Got it.
No. And you can start really, I'm going to use that expression again, you can baby step into it, in that you don't even have to have a full-fledged call center. You don't have to have all those other products to get it going. Let's say you have a company and you want to just start with an AI agent, and maybe you don't even have human agents at that point. You just want to start with one agent. You can do that, one AI agent, and you can build it.
That's awesome.
And you don't have to have an agent logging in, this, that, and the other. There's very easy ways to start on this.
Oh, that's
and,
great.
and to get into it. Another thing that I advise my customers is don't go in with the mindset that AI agents are going to be your answer. You have to have a human-centric approach to it. Okay. You can't think that, oh, customer service is going to be handled by this AI agent. Boom. We don't need to hire actual humans to help. You have to go into it understanding that AI is a tool to help your humans be better, not to replace your humans.
Yeah.
And that's my somewhat personal opinion, but I think that that's the right approach.
So Jeremiah, I'm glad you bring that up. So on the back end, is there a way for you to check in on your agents to see, what questions they're getting, how they're answering them, how they're doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's another great point. The tools that you put in place, you want to have that insight into, so that you can actually make sure it's delivering the service that you want, and that you find other opportunities to improve the agent and to improve the experience between the agent to human handoff.
That's huge. Our
So, yeah.
agents got KPIs.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's actually reporting on the back end.
Absolutely.
And the agents in the system actually scores the agent on how well they can answer
I think
questions.
that's
If they get a
Yeah.
question that they don't know the answer to, it'll score it like a 2 out of 5, right?
Oh, that's another great thing about when you introduce AI into this technology is that, yes, AI is helping you be the agent. And I mentioned earlier about AI helping you hand off and giving you sentiment analysis to the human. But then you can use AI in the back end reporting as well to summarize all the interactions, to point out the most frequently asked questions, to point out the most, frequent issues, and to grade the actual human agent that ultimately got the escalated call as well. So it's not just a, AI is my agent and then everything else within my contact center is the same. No, the AI can be your agent. The AI can help you with the customer journey and the complete picture of the context and support of that customer. And the AI can help you with what we call in the contact center world and customer experience world, workforce optimization, workforce management, quality management, quality of the interaction and quality of your agents. AI helps with all of that. And so that's all that combined is truly what augments a normal contact center and makes it next level. You're truly giving that digital transformation experience to your end users, and you're making it easy and delightful for them to interact. Like we were talking about earlier, I hate calling customer service. I'm just going to sit on the phone for 30 minutes. Once you properly roll out these features, your end users, your employees, your customers, however, vertical you set up for, it's going to be a supremely improved experience.
Super powerful. I'm going to close it down with this. As a member of the ELT here at Byteworks, we're taking this very seriously. We think that this is what we always pride ourselves on is delivering value and solutions. And to the extent that we're literally creating a practice area focus within the organization. And there's so much behind the scenes and working with what we call lighthouse customers on developing these capabilities, because we think this is the next solution to delivering values to organizations. So we're super excited about it. I cannot thank you guys enough for joining us. This is Bits and Bytes podcast, episode number 20. See you guys.